Singaporeans confirm more miserable than Malaysian, according to this economic indicator, the misery index. Now, misery index is what you get when you add or campur the inflation rate in a country and its unemployment rate. Now, I am not making this up. See this. In Singapore, the unemployment rate is 1.9% and the inflation rate is 4.5%. So your misery index is 1.9 plus 4.5 equals to 6.4%. In Malaysia, unemployment rate 3.5%, inflation rate 2.4%. So your misery index is 5.9%. There is even a world ranking for world's misery index. On the top of this list means that the most miserable country to be living in due to high unemployment and high inflation. Now, Singapore is here while Malaysia is here. Guess where is Malaysia compared to the rest of the world? Malaysia is actually at the bottom. Our inflation rate can be 11%, but subsidies keep everyone happy. Or at least not miserable as you can be if government were to remove all subsidies. The happiest people probably are the Malaysians working in Singapore. Because personal misery index for Malaysians working in Singapore is literally zero. KOSONG, KOSONG. Cause you are employed, so your personal unemployment rate is zero. Now, if you are earning in Sing dollar but spending money in Malaysian ringgit on big ticket purchase like house, a car, or even luxury goods, even as a fresh grad who are the best in your course, but you're not a doctor, engineer, or lawyer from the top university, then you'll be like, inflation? Wake up! I eat inflation for lunch. So your personal inflation index could be zero as well. Your misery index is again zero. Ha! Do not dare you complain that you got mental health issues. A message for fresh graduates in Malaysia. Why you might be paid 60% less than your peers working in Singapore. About half of the people same like you in China cannot even get a job. And they lack the option to easily triple their income just by crossing a bridge, unlike Malaysians to Singapore. So you want to count your blessings also lah. Hiya! Don't you agree? Unemployment carries more weight in affecting one's mental health rather than inflation. As long as you still got a job, income still coming in, you can just eat less, spend less, enjoy less. Law, correct or not? However, the thing to be cautious about is the stagnation in wage growth in Malaysia due to the shortage of high value, high income jobs like Tesla. Plus, weakening of ringgit is more likely to increase Malaysia's misery index going forward. In a high-income nation like Singapore, that also happen to be the most expensive cities in the world, are there any logical reasons at all for anyone to be miserable? Well, it turns out that in spite of this prosperity, Singaporeans don't seem to be getting any happier. In fact, they might feel stuck and feel kiasuli not rich enough. It's not surprising that materialism runs rampant in Singapore, with women expecting to be pampered like princesses and men too eager to brag about their status symbols. All smiles aside, these things possibly make Singapore dwellers miserable. Likely when you sacrifice work-life balance to be richer. You probably can choose for a less demanding, less stressful career, jobs, but you say, no, that's not for me, because you are addicted to earning more zeros in your bank account to maintain your lifestyle. The unquenchable thirst for fancy European holidays, fancy weddings, fancy designer handbags, and fast cars. Of course, no judgment for anyone who is that set on earning money, temporarily sacrificing the quality of life to move up the social hierarchy. But if you always have a number, a goal to hit in your mind, like once I reach X million, then I can just go retire and fish and whatever. But then when you reach that milestone and the number just keep on going up, you do not switch off. Then of course you are never going to stop feeling miserable, like a slave that has to sell your soul for work. Honestly, I can even plot your money misery on a graph like this. Even though making more money is addictive, yes, it is meaningless if it gets you off this fulfillment curve. A curve that applies to everything money related, from the money you earn to the money you spend, from the food to clothing to shelter, up to big ticket luxury purchases. Recognize when you have achieved enough so you can stay near the peak of fulfillment curve without falling back into deprivation or gluttony. Otherwise, you will realize that your anxiety, guilt, and ultimately misery start to take over. Else, how would you explain extreme cases like this if money solves everything? I think that you would agree that in the modern society, a person's worth is not measured by the size of their papayas or bananas. Agree? But often measured in dollars, your material possession signals to the world that you have high income, that can result in you being treated better than those who look poor. Legends say that your parents will be ashamed and lose face if you are poor, especially for men. If your peers arrive to yum cha in their Mercedes or BMW while you only take the MRT, then you appear less appealing to women. Now that crappy feeling of chasing after one's approval can make you regress into an otaku or worse, an incel. But also know this, financially woke people are aware that these are no longer the status symbols, yeah? These are the new age status symbols. Time freedom, financial freedom, location freedom, life choices freedom, and peace of mind. Like to hear from you what you feel about what I shared. Subscribe if you have not already. Here's the next video you will love.